Hi, y'all. This is Kim, the Humble Hermit from Come As You Are Oracle. How's anyone and everyone doing today? Yeah, I thought I'd do something a little different there. I'm going to do the collective for today. Today is Wednesday. It is June 4th, 2025. You may follow me on the Attack, the Tube, the Lemonade, the Blue Sky Social, the Pinterest, my blog, or not. Totally up to you. Links will always be in the description box. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it doesn't fit, don't make it fit. If some of it fits, we love that for you. Whatever does not, just leave it on the table for someone else. Don't take on energy that wasn't meant for you. We're going to use the Rare Rebel deck. You can find this on Etsy. I finally turned off my air because it was cool enough. Now I think it's too cool. Now I'm bundled in a sweatshirt, a hoodie. We got one on the table. Two on the table. Four on the table. Five on the table. Sorry, guys. I just realized I needed to text somebody. Like, I really needed to text somebody. Sorry. Okay. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. All right. They'll respond back, but I won't. I shouldn't hear it because I turned off my phone. I just realized, like, I needed to text them back. I forgot. In my old age, I forget things. Not a lot of things, because I am an elephant at heart. But we got 6 on the table. All right, we're going to do 2 more shuffles. One last shuffle here. Oh, 7 on the table. Eight with bottom of the deck. I'm going to set this over here. Move these so I kind of have them We got vices and addictions. Divine feminine energy. Angels in disguise. We've got blocked. We've got solar plexus chakra. Trauma. Okay. Why is it? I knew that this said throat chakra. I mean, I watched it fall out of the deck, but just as I went to hold it up and I kind of like looked at it, I saw throat goat. I'm just saying, throat chakra. Bottom of the deck, intimacy. Feminine, masculine, take how it resonates. It doesn't matter. So you can see my face a little bit better. It'll probably fall back. You can change this divine feminine energy into a masculine if you need to. Here's the deal. Whoever this is somebody that's not in a good place. Whether this is you, whether this is someone you know, someone from your past, someone from your present, someone from your future, right? This is not a divine feminine energy. I'm just going to throw that out there. We talk about this, every so often. For a second there, I thought I had mold on it. It's just the... Oh, okay. It's like ink from another card or something. Okay, seriously, I don't know what that was. There's something on there. This is not a divine feminine energy, okay? This is a feminine far from divine. Typically, right, in tarot cards and oracle cards, they don't just put a card in there that says feminine or masculine. Sometimes they do. Sometimes people that create decks of cards, sometimes they will. But more often than not, they'll put the Empress in there. They'll put divine feminine in there. We have to use it as a female card. Whoever this is, vices and addictions, trauma, mental health issues, this is not someone of divine status. They could have been before, and they could still be again. You always want to hope for the better, right? But whoever they are currently, they are not in this read. Again, technically this could have taken place in the past. This could take place in the future. So take how it resonates. This feminine has vices and addictions. This is someone that you would have been guided from by angels, ancestors, dearly departed loved ones, God himself. Okay. If you didn't block this person personally, they were blocked from your energy. Again. And when we say like energetically blocked, like really what you mean is like somebody will like pick up the phone to call, right? And then somebody will call them, so they won't call you. Or like they'll go to do a text and they'll get a ping to their phone like, hey, something's on sale, and they'll go look at that and they'll forget to text you. It's things like that. It's where the person is going to make the effort and they're going to do it, but somehow they get drawn in another direction. That's divine guidance, y'all. That's especially when it blocks somebody from your energy that isn't meant to be there, especially if they're more toxic and you're more in the upright. That is a divine blockage. Like that is God literally saying, no, you know what? You don't need to text them. You don't need to call them. You don't need to communicate with them. How about you go look at that Coach sale online instead? How about we'll have your drug dealer call you instead? Divinely guided. I only say drug dealer because I mean it says vices and addictions, and I mean anything can technically be an addiction. We've talked about this before. The typical ones: sex, drugs, alcohol, gambling, money, right? There's a million others. You can be addicted to anything pretty much. You could be addicted to all those things. This is someone with trauma, possibly childhood trauma, right? Someone that needs to really work on themselves. It's kind of funny because when I see the solar plexus chakra card and I see that bright light, I just really think of a soul, like someone's soul, like someone literally needing to work on themselves to save their soul. I could have gotten the throat goat because maybe sex, I don't know. Maybe they're addicted to sex, maybe they have issues. I couldn't tell you for sure. You'd have to take it as it resonates for you. It's kind of funny because when you think about it, people, okay, not that we all don't falter, right? Like we're all human. Even healing people are human. We make mistakes. We do things we shouldn't do. We learn from them, hopefully, right? When you're an unhealed person, when you're living in toxicity, when you're quote unquote karmic, as we all have been in the past, you tend to speak without thinking. You tend to, shout, get angry, say stupid shit, act like an ass. And I said you tend to. Not necessarily everybody does the same thing, right? But I'm just saying, like, law of averages. Like, if you're toxic, if you're living in your addictions, you probably feel like, oh, well, I don't give a fuck what people think about me. I'm just going to say whatever I want. When you're healing, and as you continue to heal on your journey, you realize that some things can be left unquestioned or unanswered. And it's okay. Like, you don't have to comment on everything. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen something on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and somebody says something, and I'll like go to comment, right? Like I'll write out this long comment and then I'll look at it and I'll be like, you don't need to say that. Just let it go. Same thing in real life. Like I could be talking to somebody and somebody says something and I'm like, like I want to say something, but I don't. I hold back. I don't say it. And it's not because I don't think I have a right to say something. You always have a right to speak up and say what you want to say. Use your voice, speak the truth, right? But as someone that's healing, as someone that continues to heal, you start to realize like some things just don't need to be said. And sometimes silence is better, right? And I've even said to you guys before, like when I got into that heated argument with my coworker in November and I behaved in a way that I don't usually behave. That was my mistake, right? That was my human moment. That was me like reverting back to my old self, which happens. Everybody does that. But I've also told you guys that I do regret it. Like I do think about it. And I think about how in the past, when I've just let silence be my guide, things have always worked out better for me. And the message is always clear. If somebody says something to you that's insulting or something that's just negative, something you don't agree with, something racist, something sexist, whatever the case, sometimes just standing there staring at them and then turning around and walking away is the best fucking response you can give somebody. Just like I talk about the ex-best friend. In October, I think, it'll be 3 years since I've talked to her. In September 16th, it'll be 3 years since I've seen her. Silence is sometimes the best thing in the world. Silence can be so freaking healing. Seriously. And it's an old cliche, right? But sometimes silence says the most. It really does. And like I said, for me in the past, it has always worked the best for me. Always. Always. This person probably is not at that stage. They probably would not know what that is. This would be somebody that's. And I'm not saying that if you don't feel called to say something, stand up for yourself, tell the truth. You should. You for sure should. I'm just saying that sometimes silence is the better option. This is somebody that you could have been intimate with. We keep getting readings very similar lately. Um, it's in the energy. And even this reading, like this doesn't necessarily have to be like a lover. This could be a friend, this could be a family member. Being intimate with someone doesn't necessarily mean sex. Can they go hand in hand? Obviously, they can go hand in hand, right? Like if you're married, you probably have sex with your spouse and you guys are intimate. And intimate could mean many different things. Intimate could mean sex, but in like a loving way, right? In a make love kind of way. It could mean holding each other, kissing each other, but not having sex, being intimate, being close. Being intimate can also mean just knowing everything there is to know about a person, doing somebody's laundry. I mean, really, when you think about it, like when you're married and you do your spouse's laundry, whether man, woman, it doesn't matter. That is intimate. Like, since I was a teenager, when I lived at home, I did my own laundry. Nobody did my laundry for me. I mean, technically, if anything, I was doing my family's laundry, but usually I did my own. Going to the pharmacy and picking up someone's prescriptions and knowing what those prescriptions are and knowing what's supposed to be in that bag and knowing how much they have to take every day and how many pills should be in that pill bottle. That is intimate. There are so many things that could fall under the intimacy umbrella, even things you probably wouldn't even think of. So this could be a friend, this could be a family member. It doesn't necessarily have to be a lover. Again, take how it resonates for you. Okay. I don't think I've ever said this before. I think I've commented on that picture where it looks like a female is pulling up the shirt over a male's face. And I'm just looking at it. And I just thought to myself, like, you don't even need to look at the person to know things about them. Or, like, you don't even need to look at a person to know what they're thinking, what they're feeling. Like, that's intimacy. Now, one more thing before I let this go, because like I said, we've been getting this pretty similar reads a lot. I don't really think there's too much here to unpack. Well, I'm going to say two things because I have to say something I thought of earlier too, because I'm going to say it in both readings today. It's like a download. With this trauma card, people and their trauma, you can only excuse someone, their bad behavior due to trauma for so long. And we can argue about this all day, but if you're someone that's healing, if you're someone that's on the journey, and this is just my opinion, but again, we can argue about it. This is my opinion. You can only put up with someone's bullshit due to trauma for so long. Because if you're a healing person, you're healing. It's very hard to stand there. And again, this is my opinion, my experience. It's very hard to stand there and watch someone that's not healing continue to act like a complete and utter ass in their life while you're healing and you're changing and you're growing and you're evolving and you're moving on and you're taking care of yourself and you're building yourself up and you're living your genuine life and you're finding your purpose, and this person is still standing where you left them, crying, screaming, using, abusing, whatever they do for traumatic kicks, right? It's very hard to overlook that. And it's very hard to not walk away, in my opinion. Because if you're healing, why would you want to expose yourself to this behavior? Like, this is what you're leaving. This is what you're putting behind in your own life. Why would you want to deal with it in someone else? God, the angels, your dearly departed loved ones, they block people like this from you when you're healing on purpose. Because they don't want you to get distracted. They don't want you to fall behind. They don't want you to fall off the wagon, right? And I'm of the personal opinion, like, the people from my past that I know that have issues, they're still there. I'm not exposing myself to that. I keep saying this as an excuse or as, I don't know, a story. I don't know. But I'm going to be 45 on Sunday. I'm going to be the ripe old age of 45. And I think I've earned the right to live in my peace, to continue healing, to continue evolving, to continue finding my purpose without having to feel like this shit is dogging my ass. I don't let people from my past back into my life that still cater to their basic needs, because this is basic. Make no mistake, this is fucking basic. I could go out tomorrow and do some, snorty stuff if I wanted to and get myself addicted. That's basic. That's easy. You know what's hard? Healing, growing, evolving, changing, finding your purpose, keeping up with it every day, not going back to this bullshit. That's hard. This is fucking easy. And like I said, completely and utterly basic. When I see people living in their addictions and not wanting to give them up and being like, well, this is just who I am, I'm a junkie. I like to fuck around with a different person every day. Congratulations, you're a basic bitch. I don't know what to say. For the men and women that continuously go back to their past lovers, whether they beat them, abuse them, yell at them, gave them STDs, And they keep going back and back and back and back. You're basic. You're basic. These things are hard. Living in your divineness, being protected by God and angels, getting intimate with people. Again, doesn't have to be sexual. That's hard. That's a lot of work. People don't want to do that. People go back to their old people because they don't want to have to learn a new person. That's hard. Oh my God, it's so hard to learn a new person. The last thing I have to say is I was cleaning litter boxes earlier for trash day tomorrow, and then I was vacuuming up some dust bunnies and stray litter in the hallway, and I saw in my head, I not in my hallway, although I mean I wouldn't be shocked if I did. I would not be shocked if I did. In my mind, I saw like a skeletal hand, and it was just kind of like reaching down from like above. And then I immediately thought of Poltergeist. Carol Ann. Carol Ann. Carol Ann. I call him the preacher man. I don't remember what his name is in the movie, but in the Poltergeist movie, he was like the reverend, the minister that led his flock astray, and they all died. And they're I'm giving away the story. If you never watched Poltergeist, too bad. The movie was made in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and all the bodies of him and his people were in the ground underneath where they build their pool, right? I call him the preacher man. I can't remember what his name was in the movie. That he had a name in the movie. I can't remember what it was. Kane. I don't know. It was something. But I've always like thought of him and referred to him as the preacher man. And that was my download for this morning. Please protect yourself. Sage your home. Use some Palo Santos. Say a little prayer for yourself. Say a prayer for your home. Say a prayer for your significant other, if you have one, your kids, your animals. Protect yourself, okay? If you need to, you can go online and find protection spells. You can literally make up your own protection spell. Through intention, it becomes reality. So if you speak a spell into existence to protect yourself, that is your reality. You are protected. And I just felt the call to say that. And I'm going to say that when I do the tarot reading as well. Somebody needed to hear that. I don't know if you got a preacher man in your energy, but you got something in your energy. Someone somewhere's got something in their energy. It could even be me. I'm not going to lie. But I think for the most part, most of the stuff that passes through this house either falls in love with me or just doesn't stay long. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. All right. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope, if anything, you found it entertaining. I hope it resonated. I'll talk to you later. Bye.